Hi, thanks for joining us. My name is Megan Waters. I'm the Community Marketing Manager with Armstrong, and we're here today to talk about the Small Business Development Program again with another guest. We're here with Gary from the program and with Sonya.
Hey, Gary Spetz. I'm president of Spetz Consulting Services, also the coordinator, facilitator of Small Business Jumpstart Program.
Hi, Sonya Longstreth, the owner of Staging by Sonya, and I also attended Gary's class.
Very good. So we're glad to be joined by another one of the alum of the program today to talk a little bit about their business and also what they glean from the program and what they would suggest if you're interested in participating. We'll get you that information as well. But you mentioned your business, Staging by Sonya. So tell us a little bit, what does that mean? What do you do in our community?
Okay, yes. So I will say I realize that the name sometimes confuses people. They just assume that I must do something that is only related to staging. And to clarify that, I'm an interior decorator, and that entails basically making a space beautiful, possibly making that space have more of a neutral appeal for staging when it comes to selling a home, selling a business, or even for setting up like an Airbnb. Giving you that ability to post photos online, so people are attracted to it, essentially, from before they ever set foot. And then I also, which is the majority of my work, is really interior decorating, doing like design work. Organization sometimes plays a role in that, because, well, if you feel like you have too much stuff and you're not ready to make the space beautiful, that's obviously step one.
Sure.
And then there's things like holiday decorating, event decorating that plays in a role. I love doing holiday decorating. 17-foot tree is the largest I've done yet. That was fun. I think
So
my
you're not afraid
husband
of
was a
heights.
little nervous about that one. He's like, "Is there scaffolding?" It was a good time.
That's great.
But yeah. So.
And do you work with businesses as well in terms of setting up maybe some staging for their windows or, something that they have going on in the store?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it can be for sale, but it can also be just that whole presentation, essentially, is what I'm providing them.
That's great. So kind of creating a sense of the brand for them, kind of looking into what they're trying to portray and making that come to life.
Exactly.
That's very cool. Well, tell us where you're located, where you do your work, how we find you.
So I am located out of Meadville. However, I don't have a storefront. I honestly don't really have a need for it because I'm in someone's home or I'm essentially working on my computer. At home or Starbucks, possibly. That's usually my two spots. So yeah, I don't have like a business location that someone would come to. I would come to them. But I travel quite a distance. Quite honestly, part of the reason that I got involved in this program and wanted to get into the chamber and everything was I realized I did a lot of work in New York and Ohio and like away from here. And I hadn't really established myself very much in the local community as a business owner. In my personal life, absolutely, I was involved with a lot, but not my business life. So that was the change that I wanted to make, to come closer, because I do love this community.
How'd you get involved in interior design and what your passion for it and those things?
So honestly, I think it's in my blood. My grandfather on my mother's side, my father and my mother all had some level of design. My grandfather was a contractor and built homes like from the ground up. My father had a contracting business. And then my mother was just the kind of person that I came home from school and the bathroom was gutted or the floors were ripped up or she rented something to redo the hardwood floors. So it was just instilled in me to basically change and redo and beautify all the spaces that were around me.
Yeah.
And so to this day, I love going to my grandfather's and I am asking to pull out his blueprints. And I love going over the blueprints.
Yeah.
I'm still,
So it really is in your genetics.
Yeah, it really is. Architecture in general, like I really admire it. I love it. I can get quite distracted by just looking at the areas around me and the buildings that I'm in.
Inspired, not distracted.
Yeah,
inspired.
You're right. Inspired. My husband would
get
distracted.
So how do you model or get a visual so someone who doesn't have your ability to kind of visualize a space? How do you get that to the client or customer?
Yeah, good question, because honestly, the majority of people do not have the ability to see things differently than as they are. That is just pretty common, for most. And whereas I walk in and see it completely different. So to basically depict that to them, I have a program that I utilize. I do things like a mood board, which would have selections on it that are more specific, with possibly even if they so select to have me pick out the actual furniture pieces, everything down to the detail. Those would be displayed on that. And then I also have a 3D design that I can create and draw up and build like the room. I used to do like hand drawings, but now that technology has come a long way, I actually utilize a 3D program that lets me build up a space to give them, a good depiction. It's never going to be exact, but it's an idea so that they can see a little better idea of what I'm seeing.
Yeah. That's interesting. We know a little bit about that technology changing how you do your work. We've had those discussions here in the office about how it can change something that maybe doesn't seem super related, interior design, because you need to portray that image, that view. And so you're able to utilize the technology and some of those other things to bring into your world. So that's pretty cool. So, well, you mentioned about why you're passionate. Is there anyone in particular, you mentioned your family members that have influenced you and brought you to this point?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my grandfather and my mother are probably the number ones. Because I knew my father had a contracting business and I knew, but I was not quite as involved in seeing that. Whereas my grandfather would, share his blueprints with me, let me see that. And my mother, obviously, we were doing projects together from a young age. And she was always, she would actually sew, make the draperies and things like that for our home. And so I had a really hands-on experience with her. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say my family is not
on the job training.
Exactly.
Are there any professional associations you belong to or certifications that you might attain to do the type of work you do?
Well, Gary, funny you should mention it. I took this Jumpstart class.
That might help business-wise.
Yeah. I really did appreciate your business class, by the way. I'm sure we'll get there. But I'm part of the chamber in Meadville now, and I had just recently joined after the class, and I'm already absolutely loving it. The camaraderie and the support of everybody, I think is fabulous. I'm a big believer in supporting small businesses as it is, obviously, since I am one, but even prior, I did believe in helping the little guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and that's one thing I'll say about our community and our region is really it's all about connections and community and history and kind of a lot of things you've touched on, family, architecture, all of that has brought us to where we're at. So another big portion of that is the camaraderie and the giving back that kind of happens among the groups. So I know your business does that as well, sort of outside of the realm of interior design. Tell us how you give back to the community.
Yeah, so it became very passionate for me to do this outreach because of my grandmother. So a lot of my decisions in life, essentially, I guess, really are due to family. When I first started visiting my grandmother in the home with my kids, I realized how many people were so excited to see us there. And I would ask her, I don't understand, why we don't know them? You know what I mean? Why are they so excited to see us? And it was because she said they didn't have anybody. No one was coming to see them. No one was bringing them Christmas presents. No one was spending time and visiting them. And so I do a fundraiser called Adopt a Grandparent. And this next year will be 15 years. So pretty exciting and honestly mind-blowing to me that time's flown that fast because it does not seem like it's been that long. But it started out with the Cambridge Springs Nursing Home. That's where we went first. And we did hot chocolate and cookies and handed out gift sets and did caroling singing to them and then sat down and visited with them. And it was a little more personable before I think COVID and HIPAA laws were so strict and things like that. But, and so it's just grown since then. And now I contact all the nursing homes that are in the local areas. I've gone Meadville. We go out towards Conneautville, Erie, Edinburgh. I've reached out. There's others that have started, honestly, after the few years doing it, that I find out when I call, yeah, someone else said they're going to help this year too. And so I think it's awesome that more people have stepped up to help and realized the need and want to fill it, because I'm only one person.
Sure.
And although I have a great group of people that really do help get the word out there, whether it's just helping me get the word out or donating or helping me put the gift sets together, like, you know, all those things matter and make it work. But still, we can only do so much.
And how do you fundraise for that program?
Honestly, it's word of mouth, door to door. Like when I started, I literally just walked into businesses and reached out to people, you know, and asked, like, would you like to support and donate? Every $25 makes a gift set for each resident. Yeah.
Well, I know we have a big aging population here in our area, so that's obviously something that is a need and will continue to grow as a need. But I think that's a great opportunity for our local businesses to be partnering with you, to give back. That's something I know we've seen a lot of in our areas. People are very generous in creating these connections in our community. So that's great. I'm glad that you're doing that. And congratulations on 15 years. It's been a success. No, that's wonderful. Well, back to the program, Small Business Jumpstart. How did you learn about the program and what made you interested in participating?
Well, I actually picked up information at the chamber because I was looking into getting a membership with the chamber, and in all the pamphlets and information of classes that were available. And that's exactly what I was diving into, is wanting to get involved and find things that I could, you know, take and utilize to, you know, basically sharpen my business skills. And so as soon as I seen his class, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. I didn't even really have to think about it, honestly, because it was just what I was looking for.
That's great. And what would you say is one of your biggest takeaways, or a few of your biggest takeaways from what you've learned there?
Definitely sharpening my business skills, because the design may have been in my blood, but not so much like numbers. That's definitely my challenge. Sure.
Just a different blueprint.
Yeah.
Business print.
Yeah, but it definitely needed like reinstalled. That's you know, just like a computer, I need updated. So I needed that, and I really appreciate it. I appreciated the way that he put things together. Like you did such a good job of breaking it down. And dare I use the words like dumb it down for some of us who
Keep it practical and basic.
Step by step. So that was one thing I really, really appreciated. And then I loved making new friends, meeting new people, other business owners, other people that were considering business, because I am big on the whole idea of surrounding yourself in a circle of like-minded individuals.
Sure.
So I like
all growth-minded, development-driven.
And networking and support of each other, I think, is really important. So
I know that's something, just not having gone through the program myself, but something I've seen is that support network continues on beyond the program itself into things like the chamber or other local professional groups or business partnerships that you do down the road. So I have seen that camaraderie continue on. So that's great that you felt that as well. Not just with your class, but I'm sure you'll come across other graduates in time that have had similar experiences, and that's a good kind of joint experience that you had. So that's great. But did you have any trepidations, any concerns going into it?
Yeah, honestly, I was honestly worried about being the only one in the class who maybe didn't get all the when it comes down to finances and like just book work and things like that. That is my number one challenge. I certainly have a tax lady because I know that I could possibly screw that up. So yeah, that I guess nervousness, like, am I going to be the least qualified in this class? You know, for understanding this information and, you know.
but there's no, you know, written tests or anything. You don't grade. So I think everybody learns at a different level, and high percentage of people really don't like math and spreadsheet.
I was going to say, is that probably something you've seen before?
Yeah, so that's not uncommon to be at least a little nervous about that, because that just happens to be that way. The other thing is sales, but I think you're pretty good at that. So I think everybody has strengths and areas that they can work on. So that's what we want to make sure people have those resources so they can be successful. So I know
Yeah.
it's important.
That's my goal. Grow my weakness.
Yeah.
Improve on my weakness.
Gather the resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, have you seen any changes in your business since you've gone through the program?
I have met a lot of new people, and I realized that there were a lot of people in my life, which I think you said this to me once, Gary. Just because they know who you are or even know the name of your business doesn't mean they know what you do. And so I've had so many people like, oh, I didn't realize you did that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's what you do. And so it's opened the door, and I've had more people referring me, and oh yeah, I know somebody that does that, direct referrals and things, because now they know what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what you do. You do it every day. You know it really well, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else knows as much as you do. So that's great. I'm glad you're getting the word out, willing to grow, trying new opportunities and things. What do you think is next for your business?
Honestly, I am just excited about getting out in our community. Like, you know what I mean? The growth. I would love to network some more with some local businesses, come up with some, different ideas. Because I see, like, I don't know, like, for instance, I know the Soldy Spa and Cup and Spoon, and, they do a great job of just collaborating, or, yeah, there's a lot of things I've seen. Breathing Yoga and Susie they do things together. I would love to find a way. Mine's a little bit different, my niche is a little different, but find ways.
That's good though. That means that your niche hasn't been taken yet.
Yeah, that's right.
You have a spot waiting for you. Sure. So, but you're right. That's kind of what I mean when I see all these great partnerships, things that you might not even think go together, that would pair well. But our community does a great job of, I think, leaning on one another, and finding ways to lift one another up and share business ideas and things. So, I'm glad that you're in a part of that now and that you're looking for new ways. Certainly, we're glad to have you here and learn more about you as part of our interview process. This is a great opportunity for us as well. So what would you say, would you recommend this program for other folks, other business owners? What would you tell somebody that's considering the program?
Absolutely. I would say give it a go. Don't even think about it, because so much valuable information. And honestly, whether you are just thinking about starting a business or you've already had an established business and you just want to find some ways to grow and tweak things and, get a little better at the things you're not as good at, there's always something to learn.
That's great.
And we're trying to add value all the time, whether it's just the benefits of the program that you're taking advantage of, or discounts and connections, but we bring in legal resources, accounting, social media, anything that group needs, we try to bring in, because I can't do that all, nor do I have that knowledge, but I know people that do. So that networking of fulfilling all those gaps that you talk about, trying to make sure that you feel is ready to go the next step in your business is what we're trying to accomplish.
Would you say the program it's at a certain level kind of customized to what that group needs, what that business owner is looking to do, what strengths they're looking to gain from the program?
We do a little assessment at the first session. I get a feel for people, what their business is, because a lot of the businesses I've worked with, because we've had over 900 now. And the idea is also, we have a couple assessment tools to kind of see where people are at. It's all confidential, but it gives me kind of an insight where are the areas I should spend more time on. And then I also get input. I let them drive it a little bit and say, hey, we would like to, go and visit a business, which we do, and also get a little bit more information on certain topics. And I'm flexible with that.
And I know you provide support after the fact as well.
Yeah, and whether they need it or not, no. I basically follow up with people. I don't, impede on what they're doing, but I like to touch base. But a lot of people, even 5 years out, will send me an email and say, hey, do you have an idea on this, or where could I go with this, and all that. And I'm always great to sit down and have a cup of coffee with someone and do that. So I want to see that success.
Yeah. Well, again, it's all about the connections we make, the resources we know we have, and making use of all of that. And I think we have a great community that does that. If you involve yourself, I think it's very welcoming to those ideas and that process of just kind of lifting up our whole region. So, yeah, so glad to be a part of that group as well. And I'm glad we're here to kind of discuss this. We were here with the Piggy folks last time. That was a good interview as well. So we're looking forward to doing some more interviews with our program alumni and here with Gary as well, and a special guest. So we'll see you again the next time. But please, we hope that if you have questions about the program, you will reach out to Gary or that you'll reach out to Sonya. If you have some needs for your staging, decorating, or any questions in that realm, we hope that you'll refer to Sonya and Staging by Sonya. And we hope you'll join us next time on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.